we welcome you to the 2016 PWBA St. Petersburg Clearwater Open Finals. It's the stepladder format for the best on the PWBA Tour. We may have a first-time PWBA Tour champion, and why not? It's been that way this summer. I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you for joining us. Kim Adler will be here in just a moment. Let's take a look at our four competitors. And believe it or not, in the first match, Kelly Kulich is still looking for that first PWBA title. Stephanie Johnson qualified third. Restrepo in the number 2 position, and making her television debut and her number 1 seed debut, Lindsey Boomershine, also one of those looking to join this summer of first-time winners, and we've seen it happen already.
It's amazing. It's been quite an interesting summer, and it'll be an interesting TV finals tonight for sure.
And Kelly Kulich, yet to win on the PWBA Tour. Lord knows she's won. She has a trophy closet full of hardware, but not on this tour yet.
The ambassador for women's bowling, the ambassador for bowling, still hasn't won her first title back from PWBA relaunch.
Now, Lindsey Boomershine is a very interesting story. This is new territory for her. She has never been a number 1 seed. She's on television for the first time, and her reaction to all of this is going to tell our story.
First TV show, first potential title. There's a lot on the line for her tonight. New uncharted territory.
But she's going to have to be patient because she's in the number 1 position. She's got to sit through 2 matches, beginning with a really good one here. Kelly Kulich and Stephanie Johnson with Restrepo awaiting winner of that. It's a nice little show. Stay with us. Well, let's begin. Stephanie Johnson, the number 3 seed, is selected to go first. She does have 1 PWBA Tour title. This is her second televised appearance of the season. She picked up a 4th place finish at the Go Bowling PWBA Players Championship. Lost to Clara Guerrero, who ended up winning the whole thing in the opening match, and she was 6th at the Queens.
She looked very loose to start tonight in practice.
And it translates to her first shot.
Just enjoying it. I noticed in our intro she was off to the side photobombing everybody, so you can back up your video and take a look at that. So that's how tense she is.
Kelly Kulich looking for her first PWBA title. However, anybody who's followed bowling over the last decade and beyond knows how great she is. And she goes 10 straight back. Take a look at our USBC Future for the Sport lane pattern.
So everybody this week was a 40-foot pattern. It was actually the curve oil, which is a newer Kegel oil, and everybody was basically playing the end of the pattern or between 15 to 10, trying to keep it right of the 10 board down lane. So that was the plan, and as it turns out, it actually does hook quite a bit in the later rounds as well, as we'll find out.
And Kelly got an 8-pin that was a little reluctant to leave the others behind, but down it goes too. So a very strong start for Kelly. Any player who bowls a 300 game on our CBS Sports Network Finals will receive a $10,000 bonus from the PWBA.
Wow, you guys don't mess around with that 300 game in frame 2.
Well,
So Stephanie threw a fairly decent shot, but the 6-pin just lays in the channel. It wasn't as crisp off her hand as some of her other shots can be. I know her game very well, and that little snap at the end is important for her.
No trouble there with the 10-pin.
No trouble at all.
Stephanie was the 2015 PWBA Rookie of the Year, but she's not exactly inexperienced.
She's not a rookie, but everyone was almost a rookie last year.
Yeah,
it was kind of the way
point.
it worked out. She's been around the block with her Team USA, 12 years on Team USA and Junior Team USA.
4 years on that. So, and I think, again, a name that is extremely familiar to bowling fans. She became first known as Stephanie Nation until she was married. And wide right, and that's going to leave some work there at 2-4-10.
That ball came straight off the front of her hand in the middle of the release, if we can see a side view of her or a back view. So she swings the ball, and right at the bottom of the release, the ball just really didn't hit her fingers quite the same. 2-4-10 as a result. Not an impossible spare. She'll try for it, hopefully from the left side, and that has a better opportunity of making the 10 pin.
Nope. Just a little more with that 2 pin, and she could have kissed it off the 10. So an opening here early for Kelly Kulich. It's been an interesting summer for Kelly. She was a finalist at the U.S. Women's Open. She made the final 5, lost to Liz Johnson. Well, everybody lost to Liz Johnson at the U.S. Women's Open. She was the #1 seed in the PWBA Lexington Open Finals. Didn't win that one. And, oh, brother almighty, with a 9 pin that just didn't move. And another thing is that Kelly's also been dealing with a right ankle problem off and on.
Yeah, I was going to mention that she's been ailing kind of a right ankle injury, and she will, sometimes you can see it when she's wearing her pants. You can't see it quite as much, but when she wears her shorts, of course you can see it. But there is like an ankle brace under there that supports the muscles of her ankle on that side.
She's actually, she had to skip the Detroit event because of that. It was just too difficult for her. And we talked to Kelly about that ankle that's been a bit of a pain throughout the summer.
Kelly Kulich doesn't know how to quit. And the Tour Championship is the icing on the cake. It's our signature event at the end of the year, but there are so many events leading up to that moment. I've bowled with pain before, knowing within a step of my approach where the pain is going to occur. But with the injury, I never knew if I was going to push off and slide forward, if I was going to see stars. It's been difficult. I've never had this challenge that I faced this past season.
Now, Kelly's in the top 10 points for the Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship. If she wins this event, she locks herself down a spot. That's automatic, but that's a headache right there. A virtually impossible 2-8-10.
She got a little soft on that shot, and for her, the point of release at the bottom gives her a little extra roll, and that didn't really cut it that time. Her job right now is to just get the 2.
She'll do that and more. So she took her medicine, like it or not. And that's a big break for Stephanie Johnson, who just opened in the 3rd frame. The winner of this match will take on Rocio Restrepo, and awaiting all of that is Lindsay Boomershine.
Stephanie's ball speed, she tends to be a little further right on the lane than most of the other players. Tends to be pretty firm.
Like that.
Like that. Making it look easy. I almost expected Stephanie to break out and dance right there.
Well, Kelly had been doing some of that too in warm-ups. You know, as they warm up the audience and introduce the players and all that, Kelly is not afraid to bust out the dancing. She's an avid dancer, but at the moment, the dance floor is the farthest thing from her mind.
Kelly looked like she was in a little pain there. She looked a little grimaced.
She did. I noticed when Stephanie was on the approach that Kelly was kind of testing that ankle. So let's hope that she hasn't tweaked anything. That's got to hurry.
Came straight off the front of her hand that time as well. She's having some difficulty with good shots on that lane so far. So she rotates around through, but the ball actually comes between her thumb and her index finger, and that's not a good position for lifting through the ball, and that's usually the result, is you just miss right, and on this is not a direction you want to miss, is miss right on a 40-foot pattern. She cups her glove up pretty good and just throws it hard.
4.
That's a tough one. That sleeper back there obviously makes it difficult. Does a very, very nice job. There is Stephanie's mother.
Kelly's had a lot. She's affected a lot by the starting and stopping as we get older. That doesn't help as well, but with her ankle injury, that doesn't help things as well.
Well, there's good medicine for anything that ails you. There's a kick down on the 4-7. And an early lead for Kelly through 5 at +9.
Kelly's had the experience of Team USA and a lot of the sports psychology, and one of the things that you learn is how to deal with that pain, how to put it in an emotional place, and it's better to accept it to move through your shot rather than just to deny it's actually happening.
5-time major champion, Kelly. And
Great
yes,
shot.
fantastic shot by Kelly Kulich. She will send us to a break on a double and a 19-pin lead over Stephanie Johnson, who will be up when we return. You're watching the PWBA St. Petersburg Clearwater Open Finals.
It's not easy to win, that's for sure. You know, these girls bring it, you know, including myself. All you can do is just continue to put yourself in a position to win, and when it's your time, it's going to be your time. I've knocked on the door a lot. I have 1 title on my name, so, you know, I just kind of feel like if I keep knocking that it's eventually going to happen again. So I think it keeps you hungry. It just keeps you motivated, just do better and better and keep working harder. And it's just exciting knowing that you can keep putting yourself in that position, and one of these days it's going to happen again.
All roads lead to the Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship, and here, if you have an X, you're in. You've already won your spot. Liz Johnson with a points lead. Rocio Restrepo, who is in this event. And we'll be next. Danielle McEwen, Shannon Pluhowski without an X, but still a top 4. And a first-time winner there, Brianna Cote, in the 14th spot. You see Josie Ernest is clinched, so is Cherie Tan. So that cut line now is where Erin McCarthy is sitting at number 15. Lindsay Boomershine can make a move, will make a move, and could crack into that top 14.
Now, on the little break we had, both Stephanie and Kelly spoke to their ball reps. I heard Stephanie and them have a conversation about footwork being just a pinch fast on the shots that she missed. So she's probably going to be focusing on slowing the pace down just a bit.
Well, that could have been a lot worse, and as it is, she's got the sleeper back there.
That looked like a pretty good shot off
I thought
the
it was
hand.
too.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to snap more toward the pocket.
The ball didn't react like we all thought it would. She throws it pretty down and in right now. Another one of those players that likes to keep things in control, and that was one of the pieces this week, was keeping that ball roll in control in the mid lane. Shooting at the 2-8, but it helps that that back pin is a little off to the right.
No trouble at all. That was a makeable shot, so you don't get any extra cash for that. However, if you convert a 7-10 split on our CBS Sports Network finals, you'll receive a $100,000 bonus courtesy of Ultimate Bowling Products.
Now this is the lane where the last 2 times she's gotten a little fast with her feet. So she's going to focus on kind of keeping this a little bit slower. That was a better shot.
And a better result.
Well, you can see here, the pace of her steps was a lot better. She was able to catch the ball at the bottom to get a little more roll, which was made all the result.
So Kelly coming off a double. She's had double in the first 2 frames, then spare, open, and then has doubled. Looks good. Yes, sir. No doubt about it. 3 in a row for Kelly Kulich.
She's doing a lot. She's doing a lot of her control with the actual ball in her hand. This ball is a control ball. It keeps everything in play. A little bit of shine to it, a little luster. 10 in the pit.
Where they belong. 31-pin lead for Kelly. Who's going to start to get to the late frames. Push it, but not push it real good, as it turned out. She's going to lead.
was a good shot, but it was a little bit left at the marker down the lane. She wants to get that ball a little right of the marker, and that ball was right on top of it, or just a little left.
The U.S. Open Bowling Tournament will take place at the South Point Bowling Plaza in Las Vegas, Nevada, November 3 through 9. For more information on how to take part in one of bowling's most prestigious events, visit bowl.com/US Open. Yeah, but the 7-10 was just there for a second and then was wiped out.
So here's Kelly. She really uses her legs just in this spot to get the ball to the right. And Stephanie is a lot more down and in type of player. You see straight down and in, as opposed to where Kelly's playing whole different part of the lane.
And a very, all right, trouble avoided there. 4-7 left behind as the 6 fell down. But in the foundation, she almost left herself a split.
With all of the oil, we looked at the oil pattern earlier. There's a lot of oil in the front part of the lane for the first 20 feet. Even though it's a 40-foot pattern, you've got a lot of that front oil, which makes the ball react in the middle and the late part. Pretty extreme for a 40-foot pattern.
Neatly handled. And Kelly Kulich now in a position to put a stranglehold on this match.
She's either more focused or the medicine is kicked in because she looks a little less grimacy.
Well, being up 22 will also help your pain tolerance. That's got
That was
a hurry.
right. Yeah.
And suddenly,
Sometimes it's not the ankle, sometimes it's just the bowler. So on this shot, she really, her ball path was a good 3 boards further right on that shot through the front part of the lane. You can't have that much angle on a 40-foot.
this is not impossible. Maybe thought it would be a bounce back off of there, but now her lead has shrunk to 9.
So she's giving the thumb hole a little overlook there. She's taking out some tape. Apparently her thumb has gotten a little bigger and she's making a little more room for her thumb to clear. That can either hang up in the ball, or for some people they just release it too soon or too early as an adjustment.
She needs a double and 2, and she can win this right now.
Great shot.
Just a late little break, so scratch that idea. Stephanie Johnson's going to get a chance here to steal. That did look like a great.
I tried to hit it. I hit it too soon.
We can hit her. We can hear her on the mic. She felt like she got a little too much on that ball. That maybe that was the reason why that happened.
All right, first things first. Don't miss this. She doesn't.
Well, when we're bowlers, we're not thinking what not to do. We're thinking about what to do.
Sure.
Timing is so bad.
Gotta think positively. Positive words, positive thoughts.
Well, it's still going to be a challenge for Stephanie Johnson. If there is a chance for a tie here, if Kelly gets a strike and finishes at 201, Stephanie Johnson will need to strike out to take the match. It's a big shot right here. And instead, she leaves behind that mess. And that changes the focus for Stephanie a little bit. But first things first, she's got to strike out this ball.
Oh, boy.
She has to get a double and 7. Not easy, obviously.
She's looking pretty calm right now. She's composing herself, doing her breathing, getting herself set. Her thought right now is those steps keeping them comfortably slow.
That's
Great
one.
shot there. She just needs to do exactly the same thing on the next shot.
Kelly can't bear to look.
Everything was perfectly in time. She caught all of that in just the right way. Ball's perfect. That never had any chance to not strike.
Changed ball, too.
This is the time to do it. After this ball, she's got the confidence to kind of play around a bit for the next game.
If she gets there, because this is the shot that will get her the opportunity.
Oh, that's
Doesn't like it.
Oh, tickles it. Oh,
Yeah, a
almost.
tickle, a wobble, and it stands. Kelly, you can look. Because you won.
Extended play for Kelly. This is a chance to kind of think things through and maybe come up with a new game plan.
So she's got Restrepo in the next match.
And I thought Stephanie bowled a very good game. This wasn't enough.
Relief for Kelly Kulich. Disappointment, of course, for Stephanie Johnson. Kelly still alive in search for her first PWBA Tour title. She'll take on Restrepo in the next match. Second of our 3 matches is about to begin with Kelly Kulich moving on to take on Restrepo. And during the break, Kelly decided to get some counseling.
Try this 2 shots here.
Just give me a hug.
Yeah. Just 2 shots, okay? I want you to go through your push and all that, nice and easy and slow, and then let it build up.
Win this for me.
I'm trying, dear.
Yes, so long ago there was a
Well, there you go. Kelly, sometimes emotional support, although Del Ballard did have some strategy in there as well.
She's tired.
She looks it. She looks it.
Physically and mentally, but
Yeah.
we're going to see how this champion can either prevail or not prevail.
Against a young gun, Restrepo, 28 years old from Columbia, now living in Ohio.
She is a lot further left than she was in the week. That was a double bounce again on the lane. We had one of those earlier.
See if we can hear it.
She gets so low to the approach with her legs. Boom, boom.
Yeah, you could clearly see it.
Yeah, and that usually means it goes left. Fill those frames early. For as young as she is, she has got so much experience bowling. I think she's had international experience since she was 5.
It seems that way. And Kelly Kulich, you see what she did in the first match. A little international Team USA experience. Restrepo, Team Columbia. That's a perfect shot.
Great shot there.
Come on.
She did exactly what she wanted Del Ballard for her to do, is to focus in on that release, get it clean off her hand, and that's exactly what she did here. Right to the right place. Perfect pitch.
See Tish Johnson there in the red t-shirt behind, so a Hall of Famer in the PWBA. 25 titles. Oh, should have been back-to-back jack. It was a good shot.
I actually think that Kelly wants to be done with one ball, not just for the strike, but for the not having the ball twice. And that pin just wrapped around it. A little loss of energy in the ball that can cause that to happen, which is what I think happened.
When you're fatigued like Kelly is, you've got to fight through and not make mental mistakes. Tish Johnson knows that as a Hall of Famer.
I think she's here watching and learning because you never stop. And she's right behind the TV pair. It's your best view to watch ball reaction and everything that's happening. Let's see, Rocio with that release.
And that's a
So
nice kick.
smooth,
Yeah.
yes.
She won her PWBA title in Detroit. The PWBA Greater Detroit Open. Defeated Lee Jane Sin.
So here we go. She's got a nice compact 4-step. It goes into her swing. Nice and high. Look how high that swing is. It comes straight down and nice and flat through the bottom, which is what gives her that nice hit and release so quick. Even if she loses her balance, she's got her legs into it, and it's on track. Left. Wow. When you're that far left, you miss a little bit, you've still got some room, which is exactly what happened.
Are you looking for some great PWBA gear? Then visit the official online store of the PWBA and shop PWBA.com.
I don't think Kelly watches a much
That's true.
of the other
No,
opponents.
that is
She's so
absolutely true.
into herself, and there's not a lot of emotional or mental energy to expend watching other people right now.
Push.
Pushes into a big 4. That's where she has to be careful now of letting this match get away from her early.
Ball was into her swing good, but she just kind of decelerated at the bottom. I kind of think that fatigue played into that shot.
Well, she's going to have to fight back now, down 26.
So they're easy, is what she's trying to tell us. From up here, they don't look that easy.
Well, the good news is she gets to hit them. They don't get to hit her. The bad news is they don't always do what you want.
Carry.
Good
It did.
shot.
Oh, that's 10 straight back.
She's
Forget
got to
about it.
feel good about that shot. And when you have to sit down after that, that's the best place to be.
Just a warning shot across Restrepo's bow, just reminding her that I'm still here.
Rocio doesn't really seem to notice very much. She's a very intense player. You can see it's very internal.
Another former shocker from Wichita State. That worked out well. Wasn't pretty. Rocio looking for her second PWBA title. Her first came earlier this year, the Greater Detroit Open, when she defeated Malaysia's Lee Jane Sin. 217-185 in the title match. Absolutely grab that when you win. She won a medal at a World Championship in 2003 when she was 15 years old.
Oh my gosh. Good shot.
And she'll kick out almost all of the trouble.
Her her mistakes are only that. When everybody else's mistakes were missing right and missing head pin right, that's the way to make your mistakes. That's a sign of being lined up.
Smack down on that. So up 35. But Kelly is working on a strike.
Good speed on the shot.
And she's working on a double.
Yes.
Trying to fight her way back in. And the winner of this match will take on Lindsay Boomershine for the St. Petersburg Clearwater Open Final championship match.
Here, just her swing looked just so much looser than some of the others. Just more natural and freewheeling. That's what she needs to focus on. It's just freewheeling. That's the Kelly we know.
That's the Kelly that in 2010 won a Queens U.S. Women's Open and the Tournament of Champions. Got it. Mixed him up and put the hurt on him, so Kelly Kulich will sit down. Restrepo, when we come back, we'll have to think about what Kelly has done and focus on her own game. She still has the advantage, though. We'll be right back. Match number 2.
Yes, come on.
Heartening to see the PWBA back in Florida. It's 2001 was the last time they were there. 71 entries. You had to cash at 2:02.5. Make the match play at around 2:13. Diana Zavjalova and Erin McCarthy were 5 and 6. Maria Jose Rodriguez, number 7. Josie Ernest, who was a summer champion, winning the PWBA Rochester Open in 8th. Shannon O'Keefe's had a great summer in number 9 position. Recent events, we've seen first-time winners. Brianna Cote at the PWBA Lexington Open. And then Josie Ernest, Rochester. Would it be, if Kelly Kulich gets through, comes from behind, and it just got a little tougher,
Yes.
we would have a final of 2 people looking for their first PWBA Tour Championship title. However, cards right now are being held by Rocio Restrepo. Using a little Caddyshack encouragement to be the ball.
Be the ball. She's probably too young to even know what Caddyshack is.
If she breaks into
Yeah.
then we'll know. There's Joe Hostetler. He might have seen the movie Caddyshack. Look out there, Brooklyn, and she got a break.
It's a big double. I mean, if you're going to throw a Brooklyn, celebrate it. Yeah, I mean,
No
it's
one
done.
does.
I know.
No one does. It's an embarrassment factor, I think.
Yeah, it's still a strike up there.
Kelly didn't celebrate, but she's riding 3 in a row. Look out, look out. She went Brooklyn a little bit and ends up with a 310.
Go home and practice.
Go home and practice. How about go home and rest?
Out of the ball. Can't throw it twice.
This is not an easy spare to have to go at. Still in recovery from the first ball.
Looks good.
It is, yes.
That's a great shot.
Such a big spare. The right time for that. She really
was on my side.
She's asking for some insurance.
There's
That
one.
I mean, that spare alone is going to hopefully make the difference here because the 7th frame is such. It's towards the end. I mean, it's such an important piece. This ball here now is the important strike. Set her up. There you go.
Yep, that was a late little hook at the end, but it wasn't severe enough to cost her the strike. She urges herself on. Now she has to watch.
Pats her leg. Get on, little horsey.
Or actually not watch.
Right.
She sometimes opts not to look, but as I look at her, she is looking straight ahead this time. And she busted up trouble there. She knows.
Okay. Interesting difference in self-talk from Rocio to Kelly. Rocio, you hear her. It's okay. Let's do this. She's getting the ball into a nice even roll, but it's just not far enough right now. She has to angle her body position like she does almost on this pin combination spare for your strike ball.
She bumped the ball also. Got the ball, but she bumped into the ball return, excuse me.
Can I have a re-rack?
And now she's using the re-rack to regroup because that certainly jolted her.
Where Kelly stopped, reset, and made the 310, Rocio decided to go through with her shot and missed a makeable spare. And you can very, very clear take a look at it.
There.
There
Her
and there.
Left hip.
Yep. She's practically brushing against that when she started.
And you train for that. You train for these types of things, but you know, you can only do so much. Threw the timing off just a little bit. Better shot to the right that time, and
Come on.
that's what she wants to do to get herself started again.
Come on. Make good shots.
You can see it here. The ball is right, but not too right. Perfect. The ball's rolling out a little bit, but that's okay. She wants that strong rolling ball to be aggressive.
There you see the max scores.
Good shot for Kelly.
Kulich has a chance to get to that 232. As she doubles. Both players in the foundation frame come through with strikes.
And they have both been in this position a few times in their career. Kelly with just a smooth sailing shot right there.
The goal for Kelly is to put a lot of pressure on Rocio and make her have to win rather than have a party in the 10th frame. All right, 9-pin hung around, but the 4-pin is left. Now that obviously changes things.
Ball came in just a pinch high on that shot,
Yeah.
but there's times that those carry. Okay, she needs all these.
If she gets all these, she'll be at 211.
Just get one off your hand. That feels good. Just one. Better shot.
And she was very happy with that. And it looked great off her hand. Now Rocio's got to respond.
She's going to have to mark in the 10th. I believe spare 7 will do it.
Good shot.
All right.
She would be a great poker player.
You're right. Now this brings up the bump into the ball return. She's going to have to go left to right here. She's going to be, let's see where she stands, and let's see if she has that selective memory to forget what happened that caused her to miss a 610.
And And some people might move a little further right and do a little different thing with their hand to get around that. Oh, she hit it again.
Yeah, she made some contact, but it makes no effect. Or has no effect, I should say. So 7 to win it, 6, and we'll have a one frame, or a, yes, that's true, a one ball roll off actually.
And she's using the same ball. She's not changing any plan here. This isn't a time you just throw it straight down the middle.
Boy, just for a second there, it looked shaky, but she got it. Restrepo is on the way to the championship match. Her opponent has never been a #1 seed before, has never bowled on television before, and has yet to win a championship. When we continue with our summer of first-time champions, or will Restrepo pick up her second PWBA title? So Restrepo has moved on to the championship match, seeking her second PWBA Tour title. She defeats Kelly Kulich in a narrow 2-14-2-11 thriller. Bowlers today use many different types of releases. Finding and understanding the one that's best for you is the topic of this week's USBC Bowling Academy Tip.
I'm going to be talking about some of the different releases we see nowadays, and maybe put them into 4 different categories of the releases. And let's start with the new one that everyone's seeing is the two-handed release.
Right. We see lots of success with the two-handers, definitely on the men's tour, and you know, the amount of RPMs they're able to create and pin carry, it's really actually pretty impressive.
We're seeing even a lot of youth players on our youth team, Junior Team USA, and around the country and around the world are actually doing this two-handed release.
Right, and you know, is it a release or is it more just a two-handed swing? It's almost like they're just really swinging the ball with 2 hands, but the release is really just with 1.
That's where the misconception is. It really is not a two-handed release. One hand releases and then the other one just does a contemporary, what would you say, a normal release, so to speak, but it actually is a two-handed swing. Some use their thumb and some don't.
Right, and we're not really seeing a big increase whether they're using their thumb or they're not in the RPMs.
No, it's just kind of whatever personal preference is going to be style of whatever they're doing in the swing. A couple other releases. We have, I hate to use this word, but a contemporary release. A release that the good 3/4 have been taught for years and years on how they do it. Why don't you go ahead and show us what we do with the hand?
Nothing wrong with that release.
You've done that for a while, haven't you? And had some success with it too, haven't you? So the contemporary, when the thumb comes out, the hand will continue rolling through, but it is going to be a counterclockwise rotation. So the key here is making sure that we keep this elbow in when we make that rotation. Now, what are some we've seen the newer players are doing? I don't want the new players. We're seeing a lot more on the Team USA players, the younger players, the new generation that grew up on the resin bowling balls.
Right.
Their hand position is going to be in the same place. They start to release the ball, but they will do what? They will actually kick their fingers back.
Yeah, they kind of go more clockwise.
So it almost pulls the elbow in, gets the same rotation, but it actually is going to be rotating on the inside of that bowling ball. Which it's very interesting how the evolution of the game's gone, because one we don't see a lot nowadays is the full roller.
Right, one of the best players in the world, Shannon Plahowski.
Yes, it's a very heavy roll because it's covering the circumference of the bowling ball. Back in the 60s and 50s, they had the full rollers that actually went in between the fingers and thumb. To do that release, it's the same thing on the new modern players of turning in, but they would actually turn their thumb into the backswing. So it almost like used to call it a figure 8. They would turn their thumb in, come back, and then turn. So the modern release actually has some history going back all the way to the full roller. The key is understand what your release is, what's going to be best for you, and you can actually practice it with some drills.
The USBC Bowling Academy provides hundreds of hours of high-quality instructional videos for bowlers of all skill levels. Learn from Team USA and USBC certified gold coaches, as well as other top pros and instructors. All you have to do is visit usbcbowlingacademy.com today for more information. Championship match, Lindsay Boomershine making her first appearance in a final. She'll take on Restrepo, who defeated Kelly Kulich. It's a big match coming up. We're ready for the championship match, and the proprietor of Seminole Lanes, Corey Krause. Watch live, early round coverage of all PWBA events, plus live and on-demand coverage of all of the best professional bowling action on Extra Frame. Visit extraframe.tv for more info or to subscribe today. And again, I was saying earlier how nice it is, how nice it was to have the PWBA back in Florida. It's been a while, and hopefully it's going to be part of the PWBA calendar for a long time to come. All right, Rocio Restrepo versus Lindsey Boomershine. Restrepo starts up, left-hand lane for the title. And she's had success with Brooklyn.
On that lane.
Yep.
So the ball really never had a chance. I mean, it was left. The head pin kind of clears out the whole right-hand side of the rack there. It's not the way you want to line up or start, but.
We take a look at Lindsey Boomershine from Perry, Utah, 16th in points rank, making her television debut in the #1 seed. Came out a little light.
Yeah, she. I watched her in practice quite a bit, and she had been kind of playing with some different balls. She actually took this ball and changed the surface a lot, and once she got a little more scuff on it, it actually rolled too early. This is the first shot I've seen her miss right with that ball.
Her prior best PWA finish was Minnesota last year. She was 13th. Oh boy. Well, you do wonder about the nerves. It has to hit you.
All nerves.
You've been waiting through a couple of matches. The one with Kelly and Rocio came down in the end. There was no clear winner right away, and all of this is sort of building on you.
When she came over to the pair to start her practice, she was intentionally walking slow back from the foul line to keep herself calm. So the fact that she was doing that meant that she was a little nervous. She's been using her arm to guide the ball pass.
Well,
to
the
get
ball
the
pass
ball angle.
just guided her to a Greek church.
Yeah, this is not the way you want to start. I haven't seen her do that with her arm with the ball pass before. Has she been doing that? She's using that to help with either her left or eye dominance to angle her body in starting position to get the ball to the place on the lane that she wants to get it to.
So Rocio Restrepo has an early opportunity to really put a hurting on Boomershine because she's got to recover mentally, and then she has to watch Rocio, who's coming off of a good match, a solid 214. Restrepo already on a strike now. She shifts to the right lane.
And she already knows what's happening with this pair, and she has the experience of the game, the prior game.
Boomershine won't watch. And another Greek church. I don't recall, and I've done a few matches, seeing back-to-back Greek churches before.
She's looking for confirmation from her husband, who helps her with her game, whether or not that was actually a good shot off her hand.
Well, what does Kim Adler say?
It looked like she caught a lot of it, and so that it just hit the end of the pattern and hooked. Now remember, we're using the new curve oil here. So in theory, this type of oil seems to, we are seeing, hook quite a bit quickly. So that may be contributing to part of this as well.
Well, this could be a really interesting match because there it was for Restrepo, a real opportunity for a body blow, and instead she's given Boomershine a lifeline. Now she could come right back here and strike. This is the lane where she struck, although Brooklyn, she has gone several times.
And she's still wanting to keep it simple, throw good shots.
She didn't go Brooklyn there. She goes instead with a makeable 2-4-5 and said good shot.
So if she's throwing good shots and she feels they're good off her hand, she has to start thinking that maybe this ball isn't working anymore.
Could be time for a change. We'll see what happens when she gets back up.
Making it from the left side.
Straight at it.
Come on.
That's exactly what Lindsay has to do here too, the self-talk, get herself back in this. It's way too early.
Lindsay has won 3 times the USBC Women's Championship title. It's the scratch events in 2012, all events, scratch doubles and diamond doubles. She was a 4-time All-American at Nebraska, Player of the Year at Nebraska, a member of a national championship team in Nebraska. That looks solid. Kind of a flat 10, but a way better shot than the first 2 that she led off with.
Yeah, she's going to stay with this ball and just keep throwing good shots. You can't make any adjustments until you throw good shots. And that was definitely a much smoother ball off her hand, a little more rotation.
Looking for her first mark. A little sigh of relief for someone who is making her television debut. We asked her about that.
I can't think of it like, oh, like you finally, made your first TV show. And obviously I think anyone would be nervous. So I think I'm going to embrace that rather than you can't be nervous, because I think, being nervous is actually good. When Liz texts me and she's like, congratulations, like, I hope you win and all that stuff. And I was like, do you still get nervous? And she's like, absolutely. And I think about how many titles and majors that she's won.
In the case of Liz Johnson, that would be 19 titles and 8 majors, including 5 opens. And to hurry. Well, there's so much on the plate there.
She has to wonder. She had 2 balls in her hand in practice. Which ball does she start with, and whether or not she made the right decision?
Well, just as Rocio had an opportunity, Lindsay had an opportunity, and it might have slipped from her fingers, and she'll do what she can, which is going to be 2 pins shy of that. So she still has just 1 mark and 3 opens, no strikes, and now she's given it right back to Restrepo at plus 25. I don't know if you're going to get a second chance.
Right, right. So she's staying with the same ball, but this is her better lane with the ball.
Good looking shot, flat 10.
Come on.
And she may be changing her game plan a little bit based upon Lindsay's problems by just filling frames right now, of course. Leaving easy spares if she can. The ball just kind of ran out of energy at the end. But at the worst, it's a 10 pin. Let's see if she hits the ball return again this time.
Yes. I think that's just going to happen. I mean, that's just going to be.
She may have accepted it by now.
Yep.
That's part of that lane.
We take a look at international champions, this season. Bernice Lim won the USBC Queens from Singapore. Cherie Tan from Singapore. Sacramento, Clara Guerrero, Colombia. The Go Bowling PWBA Players Championship. And Rocio's already picked up 1. And she is on her way to another for this year.
She stayed with the same ball. A lot firmer through the shot.
Oops, a big 4.
Come on.
Well, she's given another opportunity to Lindsay Boomerson. So Lindsay is going to get that second chance, but can she throw a good shot on that first ball?
Lane 7 is not looking like the lane you want to end this game. That's for sure.
Boy, her lead just dropped to 7. I tell you what, when we get to the break here, those ball reps will be out there in a half a heartbeat to discuss what needs to be done. It's going to be some interesting conversations and, frankly, necessary conversations.
Lindsay did a few hand signals, not that one, but a few other hand signals to the side on the break there just to see if she should stay with that ball.
And that actually
Hit it? Oh.
no, that actually makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It's
Hank
got a chance.
Boomershine is over here just in front of our booth with Del Ballard.
The ball skids from way far in there, but just not enough to keep it going. And that ball really runs out of energy.
Going for it, going for it, going for it.
Oh. She really could have used that.
Would have been an emotional lift to say the least, but yet, despite the fact that she has just the one spare, she's only down 18 pins, and a strike would flush out a lot of toxins.
She did not have a lot of confidence in that shot, but made it look great.
There you go. There was a ball change, and it ends up with her first strike of the match. She'll go into this little break with a good feeling. And still a chance to get her first PWBA Tour title. PWBA makes it very simple as to who the player of the year is going to be. If you have the most points, you're the player of the year. Last year it was Liz Johnson. This year, at the moment, it's Liz Johnson. However, Restrepo is in the second place spot, and a win here would do a lot for her. Danielle McEwen in third. In fourth place, Shannon Pluhowski, Clara Guerrero in fifth, and Shannon O'Keefe in sixth with 3 titles this summer.
So she's taken a lot of time here. Both of the players, I think, are in the midst of changing balls. Lindsay is now going to, I mean, it's just been a nightmare of splits, and so it's time that they both think about changing. They're staying in the same balls, but different layouts.
Boomershine down by just 7. Restrepo with an open in the 6th and a strike in the 7th. Pretty. Where's the card?
Oh man, and it definitely pushed a lot better. Just not a good result.
First time that I've read this, and it has some significance because this is going to happen perhaps. Any player who converts a 7-10 on our CBS Sports Network finals will receive a $100,000 bonus from Ultimate Bowling Products. So off of the 1 strike, she drops now to minus 19. You heard it's the worst game of my life. It's the first time. This is her initial debut, her first appearance on television, and her first appearance in a final. She's the #1 seed, so she had to do some waiting as well for a couple of matches to take place. So how many ever good thoughts you're trying to pump into your brain at that time, the waiting is the hardest part, as Tom Petty once said, and he was right.
That's a good shot.
It's a great shot. That's how you come back. That's beautifully done by Lindsay.
And hopefully this kind of gets her some momentum going, because she kind of feels she looks downtrodden, just defeated, and the game is far from over.
She has to know that, I think, deep down. If I were her, I might sneak a peek at that big scoreboard off to the player's right and just be reminded. Now, Restrepo, this has not been a great game for her either, although she is coming off of a strike. She had a rough going in the middle frames and really let Boomershine back into the match. She can kick her out of the match with a string of strikes.
That sounds so easy.
Yes.
And sometimes it can look easy.
Shots, baby. Come on, right here. Right now. Come on.
It doesn't look any different, but I tell you what, it got a good amount of skid there, and the transition, it definitely reacted a lot better. Very pumped.
When I was very young, I had so much passion for the sport, and my whole life I've just loved it so much that it takes everything out of me to bowl, because I sacrifice so much. I make so many sacrifices to be here that I feel like I should be caring for every shot I throw.
Right now, come on. Give me the ball.
Okay,
Oh,
9.
that was a huge
Come on.
9.
9.
That shot got better and better as those extra pins started to fall.
Right.
It helps her count.
That ball, it looks like it's skid, hook, and then skid again. Balls aren't supposed to do that when they go down the lane.
Yes, come on.
Smart move, plastic ball or 5-pin.
Shut.
She's even pumping up her spares. So Lindsey Boomershine has struck 2 of the last 3 frames, and between those 2 strikes was an open. Her max at the moment is 168, and she might need every bit of that.
Good shot. Oh,
Better hurry. No, I'm not going to hurry. Washed out instead.
it was aggressive.
It
Just
was.
a little more angle than she could really afford. So from the back, it just went straight this way, too far, right through the spot she wanted to be.
So another open. And Rocio Restrepo moving ever closer to winning her second PWBA Tour title, and this year. So Rocio Restrepo has won the PWBA St. Petersburg Clearwater Open, defeating the top seed Lindsey Boomershine. For Restrepo, her second this year, and she will make a big move in that Player of the Year race, trying to catch Liz Johnson. Congratulations to Rocio, being a champion for the second time this year. Well, the Player of the Year race just got really interesting after Kelly Kulich defeated Stephanie Johnson. Rocio Restrepo defeated Kelly and then defeated Lindsey Boomershine. And Rocio in that second position, chasing Liz Johnson for the top spot for Player of the Year. Picks up her second PWBA Tour title this year, putting St. Petersburg Clearwater along with her Detroit trophies. Congratulations to Rocio and our Smithfield moment of the match. This 8th frame strike nailed it down. Solidly done by Rocio. Low scoring final. Both players definitely struggled with the conditions, but it was Restrepo who came through in that 8th frame with a big shot. There she is with Corey Krause, the proprietor of Seminole Lanes, handing her the trophy. Our congratulations to Rocio Restrepo, winner of the PWBA St. Petersburg Clearwater Open. Be sure to join us next Sunday, September 4th at noon for the Smithfield PWBA Tour Championship. For my partner, Kim Adler, and our entire CBS Sports Network crew, this is Dave Lamont saying so long from the PWBA St. Petersburg.